All right, so in our last explainer, we dug into all the ways automation can, go off the rails in logistics. But today, we're going to flip the script. This isn't about just pointing out the problems. Nope, it's all about designing the solutions. So let's dive right in.
Okay, I want to start with an idea that might sound a little crazy. Automation is easy. Yeah, you heard me. And I mean it. Getting a machine or a piece of software to just do the same thing again and again, that's actually the easy part.
But designing it properly, that's where most companies really struggle. And let me tell you, there's a difference between creating a tool that just adds more chaos to your day and one that genuinely actually makes your life easier. So just to be super clear here, this isn't about doom and gloom. We're not going to spend our time listing all the ways automation can blow up in your face. We already did that. This is about the solution. We're going to build a blueprint for getting it right from the get-go. And this right here really gets to the core of it all. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking automation is just about one thing: speed. Go faster, faster, faster. But a much, much better goal is control, structure, and clarity. See, when you automate something, you're not just speeding it up. You're literally coding the rules for how that work gets done. You're setting the how in stone. So how do we actually do that? How do we get that control? Well, it comes down to a really simple framework. We're just talking about 4 key principles. They're super easy to grasp, but you'd be surprised how often they get forgotten in the rush to automate. And here they are, our 4 pillars. Number 1, define boundaries. Number 2, keep a human in the loop. 3 is all about approval layers. And finally, number 4, visibility. Simple, right? Let's break each one down. All right, let's get into the real challenge of automation.
So here we are, principle number 1, define boundaries. Now, this might feel a little backwards. I get it. But honestly, the absolute best place to start with any automation project is to decide what you're not going to automate.
Think about it. Not everything should be on autopilot. You've got things like major financial approvals, you definitely want eyes on that, or critical compliance sign-offs, or, really sensitive customer communications. These are the kinds of areas where human judgment isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely non-negotiable. So the takeaway here is simple. Good design starts with clear limits. Before you write a single line of code or build a single workflow, you've got to draw those lines in the sand. Okay, so once you've figured out your boundaries, the next step is to think about your most important asset, your people, which brings us right into our 4 principles of design. Okay, principle number 2, the human in the loop. This is so important. Really smart automation doesn't get rid of people. Not at all. It empowers them. It puts them right at the most critical decision points in the process. What does this actually look like? Well, it could be as simple as having someone do a final review on a document before it gets sent out, or clicking an approve button before a major action is taken. And look, this isn't about slowing everything down. It's about putting a strategic pause, a moment of control, exactly where it's needed most. Which flows perfectly into principle number 3, approval layers. You can think of these as like safety nets. They're just simple checkpoints that are designed to catch small mistakes before they snowball into huge problems. This could be a manager's final sign-off on a statement of work, an SOW, or even just a quick, yep, this looks good, before a mass bulletin goes out. And really, this quote says it all, doesn't it? A single approval step can turn risky automation into controlled automation. It's such a simple idea, but man, is it powerful. It's often the one thing that separates a disaster from a success. And that brings us to our 4th and final principle, visibility. This one's huge. Just because a process is automated doesn't mean it should be a black box. You can't just set it and forget it. If something is running on its own, you absolutely have to have a way to see what it's doing, when it's doing it, and why. And the good news is, the tools for this are usually pretty straightforward. We're talking about clear logs, simple dashboards you can check in on, and smart alerts that ping you when something needs your attention. The bottom line is just this: automation should never ever mean you're flying blind. Okay, so we've got our 4 principles: define boundaries, human in the loop, approval layers, and visibility. But what does this look like in the real world? Let's talk about automation out in the wild, specifically in logistics. Let's look at a few common examples. Say you're automating statements of work, or SOWs. The key principle there? Approval layers. You need a human sign-off. What about automating sales emails? That's all about defining boundaries, setting clear rules about what data is used and who gets which email. And for just your general workflow automation, visibility is king.
You need a clear, trackable log of every single action taken. This is what good, safe design actually looks like in practice. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, a critical element that ties all four principles together. And it's not a new technology or a fancy piece of software. It's the people. Because experienced professionals, they're the ones who really understand the edge cases. The people who've been doing the job for years, they just know where the landmines are. They've seen all the weird exceptions, the bizarre one-in-a-million scenarios that software would never predict. They have this kind of sixth sense for knowing exactly where control is needed. Honestly, if there is just one thing you take away from all of this, please let it be this quote. Automation does not replace experience. It relies on it. It's so true. The best automation isn't built by programmers in a dark room. It's designed in partnership with the people who know the manual process inside and out. So, when you bring these design principles together with that deep, real-world experience, well, that's when you get something truly powerful. Because when it's designed properly, automation gives you so much more than just speed. Yeah, your processes get faster for sure, but they also become way more consistent. You start to actively reduce your risk, and your entire operation just becomes more solid, more reliable. And as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with this final thought. It's a given that we're going to see more and more automation. But the companies that win, the organizations that really succeed, they won't be the ones who just automate the most stuff. They'll be the ones who design it the best. So the question I have for you, the one to take back to your team, is this. How will you make sure your next automation project is designed best? How will you move past just the obsession with speed and focus on making it controlled, visible, and built on the incredible experience that's already in your organization?